After initially protesting his innocence, Jarrell Miller has now put out a video on social media, which I'm going to play for you in just a second, in which he appears to finally admit that he has actually taken performance-enhancing substances deliberately and intentionally, and is essentially apologizing for it. So as I say, I'm going to play that in a second. But as we all know, he initially tested positive earlier this week for a substance called GW1516, which I've read is actually a steroid. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I read. Well, since that time, he put out the initial statement on Instagram claiming that he was innocent and that he'd never taken any performance-enhancing substance intentionally. But now he has failed 2 other PED tests for 2 other substances, one of them being EPO, which is a very well-known performance-enhancing substance which numerous athletes in numerous different sports have been caught using over the years. And the other substance is HGH, human growth hormone. So, yeah, he's been caught taking 3 different substances and has finally apparently decided to put his hands up and say, okay, you got me, I'm guilty. Now, obviously, people are outraged by the audacity of Jarrell Miller to be pointing fingers at Anthony Joshua, accusing him of taking performance-enhancing substances, when all the while he himself was on stuff. The audacity of that is blowing people's minds, okay? And it wasn't just at the press conference in the build-up to this AJ fight that Miller has been accusing AJ. He's been doing this for several months, maybe even a year, talking about AJ being on quote-unquote protein shakes. We know what that's a metaphor for, right? And all the while, this guy's been doing stuff himself. Well, you know, in life, some people feel that the best way to look innocent is to accuse others of being guilty. Not just in boxing, not just in sport, but in life in general, you will unfortunately encounter such people who are crusaders for justice. All the while, they are doing exactly what they're accusing others of doing. And they know that they're doing it. They know they're being hypocritical. But again, it's just a way of trying to appear innocent by accusing others of being guilty. So let me play this video of Jarrell Miller apparently admitting his guilt, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the situation afterwards. So let me play this for you.
This is your boy Big Baby Miller here. A lot can be said right now. I'm gonna get straight to the point. I messed up. I made a bad call. A lot of ways to handle a situation. I handle it wrongly, and I'm paying a price for it. I missed out on a big opportunity, and I'm hurting on this side. You know, my heart is bleeding right now. I hurt my family, my friends, my team, my supporters, but I'm going to own up to it. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to correct it, and I'm going to come back better, and I'm humbled by the experience to understand, you know, how to handle certain things, man, and I'm going to leave it as that. You know, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys out there. And, you know, fighters, we go through a lot, and I don't want to make it a bad name for ourselves. And it's time to do right and get right. So I thank you.
All right, so you heard it right there from the horse's mouth. Jarrell Miller seemingly admitting to intentionally taking performance-enhancing substances. So he's obviously not going to be fighting AJ. He may receive a ban, possibly a lengthy ban. Now, when it comes to the WBA and various different sanctioning bodies, they have been very lenient in various different instances when it comes to punishing fighters for taking performance-enhancing substances. But given the fact that this particular case is very high profile and Jarrell Miller is not a cash cow, they might, just for their own reputation, to try and look good in the eyes of the public, they might make an example out of him and give him a very lengthy ban. You know, he's not a Canelo. He's not someone who the sanctioning bodies are making loads of money out of. but he is someone who was about to fight a cash cow in Anthony Joshua. So just for, political brownie points, the sanctioning bodies may choose to ban this guy for a very long time. We'll see. Okay. Now, how could Jarrell Miller be so stupid? That's the question a lot of people are asking. You know you're going to be VADA tested, and yet you're taking all these substances. It doesn't make any sense. Well, I don't know. None of us know at the moment whether Miller was taking these substances during training camp. Maybe this was stuff he was on prior to signing for the AJ fight. And if you remember, the AJ Miller fight took a little while to get made. And I do wonder whether Miller was maybe drawing out the negotiation process deliberately in the hope that he could flush out some of these substances from his system, give himself more time, or maybe give himself time to start using the correct masking agent. And maybe that's why he initially professed his innocence when he got caught for the first substance. Maybe he thought, you know what? The masking agents that I'm on might be able to cover this up. So let me just say I'm innocent and hope for the best when it comes to the B sample and the other tests that they're doing. But no such luck for Jarrell Miller. He's been popped. He's been found guilty. And however which way you want to look at him, whether he's stupid, whether he's crazy, whatever the case may be, he's not fighting. At least we know that. And Eddie Hearn has come out on social media and told Jarrell Miller to delete his number. So he's pretty much been put in Eddie Hearn's bad books. And look, I don't see Eddie Hearn as so morally upstanding that he wouldn't work with a PED user, because he's worked with Povetkin, he's worked with Ortiz, and these are people who have been popped for using PEDs just like Miller. Eddie Hearn, I'm sure, will work with whoever makes sense to work with at any given time. I don't think this man's morals are so high and mighty that it's above working with a PED user. Evidently not. But as with the sanctioning bodies, Eddie Hearn might use this as an opportunity to look good in the eyes of the public by making an example of Jarrell Miller, virtue signaling and condemning the man. And he should be condemned. Don't get it twisted. I'm not for PED use in boxing or in any sport, but there's going to be selective outrage here when it comes to the behavior of the sanctioning bodies and even the behavior of Eddie Hearn. And as for Miller, where does he go from here? I really don't care. I mean, you do wonder now whether Miller's behavior, he's very aggressive and confrontational. You do wonder whether that behavior was influenced by the substances he was taking, because these substances can change your brain chemistry to the point where your personality changes. Yeah. Anyone who's been around people who take steroids and stuff like that on a regular basis, you know what I'm talking about. Their personality can change when they start taking these substances. They can become a lot more assertive and a lot more aggressive, etc. So you do wonder whether Miller was actually getting his confidence from these substances. And without these substances, he's not as confident. That's a possibility. And as I say, when it comes to the audacity of him accusing AJ of what he himself was doing, that's the way some people approach life. Best way to look innocent is accuse others of being guilty. You'll find that in many walks of life. So, is what it is. Let's get this guy the hell up out of here, and let's get someone in the ring with AJ who can actually pass the tests, and that isn't necessarily Luis Ortiz. Who's to say that he's not gonna end up getting popped for something else? Because he's been popped a few times for using PEDs. So who's to say if he signs up to fight AJ that he don't get popped too? I mean, that's a risk right there if they decide to go down the road of fighting Ortiz, Needs to be clean, man. These VADA tests are no joke. So, yeah, Miller's the hell up out of here. And where he goes from here, I mean, people have been saying, rightly so, that it was suspicious that Miller didn't want to participate in the WBC's clean boxing program, and that it was equally as suspicious, if not more, that a 300+ pound man could have the level of endurance and stamina that he has shown in various different fights. You know, for a guy that size to be throwing that many punches that relentlessly for 12 rounds, he has to be on something. Evidently he was. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.